welcome back to The Explainer. Let's just jump right in today, because we're looking at a super fascinating, high-stakes digital experiment. Picture this. You wake up to a totally chaotic morning. You've got a mountain of unread emails, an unfinished script, a blank thumbnail canvas, and a to-do list that is, frankly, terrifying. Now, what if you handed that entire mess over to an artificial intelligence assistant for a full day? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down today. We are looking at how AI manages 24-hour work in a real, practical experiment to see exactly how it reshapes our daily productivity. Seriously, what if an AI actually controlled your entire workflow for 24 hours? Now, we're not just throwing together a list of cool new AI tools that you play with once and then completely forget about. No, this was a highly structured test with strict constraints. The goal here was to push literally as many tasks as possible onto an AI to answer two massive questions. Exactly how much time does it actually save you? And, arguably more importantly, where does it just completely fall apart? The boundary for this whole thing is incredibly strict, 24 hours. Just one creator tackling over 10 complex tasks. By throwing down this absolute time limit, it takes all those theoretical debates about the future of AI and turns them into a harsh, practical reality check. We're talking about replacing the messy, manual, totally chaotic way we usually get things done with a structured AI-assisted pipeline, just to see what actually survives the clock. 7 a.m. morning planning and research. So the experiment doesn't actually start with doing the work. It starts with planning it. The very first move was to open up ChatGPT and just delegate the entire day's schedule. The human asked the AI to map out a totally practical plan. We're talking YouTube work, deep research, editing, personal tasks, and yeah, crucially, actual breaks. With the day locked in, the first real hurdle at 7 a.m. is research. Look, if you've ever drowned in a sea of 30 open browser tabs, you absolutely know the struggle. But the ultimate AI research pipeline really boils down to three simple steps: search, organize, and verify. AI's absolute superpower is rapidly grouping massive chunks of information, right? But notice that final step, verify. Human verification is literally mandatory. You absolutely cannot just blindly trust what it spits out. All right, so once that research was organized, it was time for content ideation. The creator gave the AI a blank slate, but with a very rigid set of constraints. It had to generate 5 unique video angles based on the research, and the prompt specifically banned any generic ideas. It had to focus 100% on curiosity, practical value, and hooking the audience. And you know what? From those 5 AI-generated concepts, finding a killer idea was almost instant. A really engaging angle was locked in without the usual brainstorming headache. 10 a.m. Conquering the boring work. By 10 a.m., just 3 hours in, the AI had already built the schedule, organized all the research, and nailed down a unique content angle. Now we shift gears from planning into deep execution. It's time for the heavy lifting. You know, the actual scripting and all those tedious admin tasks that usually completely drain your energy before you've even had lunch. The AI pumped out a super fast script draft based on prompts asking for a strong hook and natural language. But here is the reality check with AI-assisted writing. A draft is just a draft. The human edit is absolutely crucial here. The creator had to jump in, trim it down, make it sound more conversational, and specifically rip out all those robotic, clunky phrases to inject an actual human voice. Next up on the list was the visual hook, the thumbnail. The AI was tasked with brainstorming 5 highly clickable concepts, using really short text, leaning hard into curiosity and strong visual contrast. And during this, a massive rule in content creation popped up. A click does not equal clickbait. You want to use that visual contrast to spark intense curiosity? Sure, but you absolutely cannot make a false promise to your audience. So while the AI is this phenomenal brainstorming partner, finding that delicate balance requires a human touch to keep things honest. Okay, then we get to my absolute favorite part of this whole experiment, conquering the truly boring work. We all have that dreaded mountain of unread emails, right? Well, the creator prompted the AI to read through the inbox, categorize everything into urgent, important, and low priority, and even draft short, professional replies for the important ones. Now, I know, this might not sound like some glamorous sci-fi use of AI, but honestly, as this experiment proved, this is exactly where the biggest, most magical chunks of time get saved in your day-to-day workflow. Here's a really cool perspective shift for you. AI isn't just an output machine, it's a completely incredible input engine as well. When it was time to learn a new complex tech topic, the creator treated the AI like a private tutor. The prompt here was brilliant. It was basically teach me like a complete beginner, keep it simple, give me a practical example, and then hit me with 3 questions to test my understanding. By using this learn, practice, test framework, they basically transformed the AI from a standard search engine into a highly personalized learning machine. And just like that, we hit the halfway mark at 2 p.m. From morning planning right through to deep execution, we're at the execution check-in. Half the day is officially gone. And at this point, the creator noted that bouncing from task to task, the AI was surprisingly useful and honestly incredibly seamless. It had assisted with every single workflow without a single major hitch. But, as with literally any experiment, smooth sailing doesn't last forever. The pivot when AI goes wrong. Yeah, despite the glowing success of the morning, the afternoon sessions brought a pretty hard dose of reality. We really need to shift our perspective here, because the 24-hour experiment eventually hit a brick wall. Look, AI is incredibly smart, for sure, but it is far, far from perfect. During one of the deep dive tasks, the AI confidently spit out an answer that contained a super subtle but entirely incorrect fact. Luckily, the creator caught it, but it caused a major friction point. And this right here is exactly why you have to verify everything important. If you're relying on AI for serious, high-stakes workflows, you have to keep your eyes peeled for those sneaky little hallucinations. That one mistake actually cements a completely non-negotiable rule if you're trying to optimize your workflow. Never, ever use AI as the final authority. Think of it as a super-powered assistant. It's there to speed up tasks, brainstorm ideas, and draft text. But you, the human creator, have to be the ultimate judge. You're the one who physically checks reliable sources and corrects the info before anything sees the light of day. And this lesson became even more glaring when it came to generating cinematic visuals for their project. They used AI to speed up rendering a futuristic text setup. And here is the massive takeaway. AI is a workflow. It's not a magic button. When you're doing creative work, AI absolutely hits the gas on the mechanical stuff. It gets you from 0 to 70% almost instantly. But that final 30%, the creative direction, the mood, the tiny nuances, and that pure human intuition, that has to be entirely led by you. 7 p.m., the final verdict. So by 7 p.m., the creator had pushed through the afternoon friction, fixed the mistakes, and fully completed the digital pipeline, literally flowing from a raw idea all the way to the final stages of publishing. The heavy lifting of the day was officially done. And when you compare the old manual reality, the chaotic tabs, staring at a blank screen, the endless tedious research, when you compare that against this new AI-assisted reality, it is a massive upgrade. The organized workflow of incredibly fast drafts, quick summaries, and clever automations undeniably made the entire day vastly smarter. So no, AI didn't make every single task perfect, but it fundamentally changed the raw speed of execution. Fast forward to 10 o'clock p.m. The creator is sitting in the dark, reviewing all the completed files and a newly organized desktop. And when they pulled up that massive original morning task list, the one that looked completely, totally impossible at 7 a.m., virtually every single box was checked. Research, done. Script, done. Thumbnail, done. Emails, totally cleared. Learning session, complete. The sheer volume of output in one day was absolutely staggering. So what's the real takeaway here? What did we actually learn from handing over the reins for an entire day? Well, first, AI absolutely saves you time, especially on those mundane, repetitive chores. Second, it desperately needs clear direction. Your prompts literally dictate your success or failure. And third, human judgment matters now more than ever. AI is not a replacement for you. It's not a substitute for your own critical thinking. But if you guide it properly, it becomes the ultimate co-pilot. Ultimately, the future advantage goes to those who understand how AI manages 24-hour work as a complete integrated system. So I want you to look at your own daily routine right now. If you were handed a fully capable AI assistant for the next 24 hours, what is the very first task you would give it? Take a second, think about it, strategize, and start building your own smarter workflow today. Thanks so much for learning with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.